Hi students, good morning. So my name is Fanindra and I am lecturer in physics in Vignan institutions. So let us continue our topic regarding the chapter laws of motion. So in our previous session of video, we have discussed regarding the some of the problems regarding the pulley problems, how to solve a pulley problems when the blocks are suspended by use of a pulley, and later we discussed about the constrained motion. Okay, so in this session of video, let us once again recall the what is constrained motion, what is constrained body, what are the different types of constraints, and also some of the problems regarding this constrained motion. Okay, students, now constrained motion. So if the motion is restricted, if the motion of a block is restricted by the another block, then the motion is said to be constrained motion. Here block may be or any object. So constrained motion is if the motion of a body is restricted by another block or another body, then the motion is said to be constrained motion. So the meaning of constraint is restriction of free motion of the body in any direction is called a constrained motion. Okay, so and constrained body is a body whose displacement in space is restricted by the other bodies that are connected or in contact is called constrained bodies. So mainly there are 3 to 4 types of constrained motion: general constraints, pulley constraints, or wedge constraints, mixed constraint. So this different types is not a problem, but how to solve the problem when this constrained motion is involved in the problem. So how to solve the problem is very important. So here is no shortcut formulas or anything, just we have to solve the problem by seeing the problem and visualize the concept. Okay students, now here is the example given like this. So a ring is sliding on a smooth inclined plane and the question is as follows. Here consider this pink color one as iron rod to which a ring is placed. So the ring is of mass small m. So this ring is connected to a block of mass capital M through a string. So this green color wire represents the string over a pulley. So this is the pulley. So let L is the length of the string. So length of the string capital L is equal to length of the string. Length of the string. Okay, so here you can observe that the length of the string can be calculated such that, so you can see here, so x is the distance of the string and the ring is at a distance of y from the fixed rigid support whose distance from this support to the ring is d. So as it is a forms a right angle triangle with an angle theta, the length of this wire from the ring to this pulley is L is equal to up to this plus x. Okay, distance from this ring to pulley and from pulley to block. Pulley to block it is x. From ring to pulley it is nothing but a root over d square plus y square. So L is equal to root over d square plus y square plus x, right or not? So in case of these constraint problems, we need to look after the first, consider the distance or the length of the string. Length of the string. So we know that this length of the string does not changes with respect to time. As the block moves, block of mass capital M moves up or down, or this ring moves down or either up, if it is accelerating or decelerating or with moving with constant velocity, the length of the string does not changes with respect to time. So differentiating with respect to time, we get dl by dt is equal to, so root over d square plus y square whole power 1 by 2 is nothing but 1 by 2 into d square plus y square whole power minus 1 by 2 into 2y into dy by dt plus dx by dt. Right or not? Here d, it does not changes, but the distance y may change as the ring may go up and down, and as well as the distance of x will also changes, right? So dl by dt, as length is constant, dl by dt should be equal to 0. So this expression should be equal to 0. Here 2 and gets cancelled, so which can be written as y divided by root over d square plus y square into dy by dt plus dx by dt is equal to 0. dy by dt, y is nothing but the displacement of the ring. Rate of displacement is nothing but the velocity of the ring. So we can written as dy by dt is nothing but the velocity of the ring of mass small m, and dx by dt is nothing but the rate of displacement of the block, which can be written as velocity of the block of mass capital M. Right or not? So from here, from this, let this equation be 1. Now you can see from this right angle triangle, so y by root over d square plus y square, root over d square plus y square is nothing but this hypotenuse, y is nothing but the adjacent side. So from this triangle we can write cos theta is equal to y divided by root over d square plus y square. Right or not? So substituting all these equations in the equation 1, we can get cos theta into dy by dt is nothing but v small m plus dx by dt is nothing but v capital M is equal to 0, or v capital M is equal to minus v small m into cos theta. This is the relation between velocity of the block and velocity of the ring. If we need to find the acceleration of the block and acceleration of the ring, just we need to differentiate again with respect to the time. Okay students, now let us go to the next problem or the next example. The question is given like this, and we need to find the relation between the velocities of the two blocks of masses m1 and m2. So in the same procedure as we have calculated earlier, initially we need to calculate the length of the string. Here you can observe this green wire is the string which is connected to the mass of the block m2, and another wire which is connected at the middle of the block to a block m1. As this mass m2 or the mass block of the block m1 either goes up or down, the value of x changes, and also the value of the length of the string which is in this shape is also changes, but the total length of the string remains constant. So in such cases of constraint problems, first we need to look after that the total length of the string should be constant. So this length of the string is constant. So initially we need to calculate this length of the string. So the length of the string can be written as length L is equal to x plus length of the string at this part and also at this part, right? So you can see that it is a two right angle triangle whose adjacent sides are y and d. So hypotenuse will be root over y square plus d square. So as there are 2 into root over y square plus d square is the length of the string. So for any time, if you consider any time, the length of the string should be remains constant. So dl by dt should be equal to 0. Change in length with respect to time should be equal to 0. So derivating both sides with respect to time, dl by dt is equal to dx by dt plus 2 into 1 by 2 into y square plus d square whole power minus 1 by 2 into 2y dy by dt. I think a differentiation is much easier when you have learned in this mathematics class. So this is the differentiation. We are using uv formula, so and u plus v formula. So dl by dt is 0. So 0 is equal to dx by dt. Dx by dt. The 2 gets cancelled plus 2y divided by y square plus d square root over into dy by dt. Into dy by dt. So dx by dt is rate of change of rate of displacement of the block m2. So it is the, we can written as velocity of the block m2. So dx by dt is equal to v2, and dy by dt is nothing but y is nothing but the change in displacement of the block m1. So dy by dt is nothing but velocity of the block 1, and y by root over x square root over y square plus d square is nothing but cos theta. So cos theta is equal to y divided by root over y square plus d square. Okay, so by substituting these values in the above equation, we can write it as dx by dt is nothing but v1 plus 2 into y by root over d square plus x square is nothing but cos theta into v2 is equal to 0, from which v1 is equal to minus 2v2 cos theta is the relation between velocities of the two blocks. Right. By keeping if you have to find the acceleration between the two blocks, and then again you have to differentiate it with respect to the time, then you can find the relation between acceleration of the blocks. But remember one thing, while finding the acceleration of the block, theta is not constant. With respect to time, theta also changes. Right. So it is also one of the constrained motion, as the motion of the block m1 is dependent on the motion of the block m. Okay students, now question is given like this. A rod of length L is inclined at an angle theta with the floor against a smooth vertical wall. If the end A moves instantaneously with a velocity v1, what is the velocity of the end B at the instant when the rod makes an angle theta with the horizontal? And the question is given like this. Right. So here a rod of length L is given, which is slides on a inclined plane. So which is of an inclined plane of length L. So if we let us draw a diagram of this given question, so the diagram will be like this. Okay, now for the easy understand purpose, I will use two different pens. Okay, so this is the rod A and B. So A and B is the rod whose length is L. L is the length of the rod, and which is making an angle theta with the horizontal, with the floor. So at any instant of time, the velocity, so if given that the end A moves instantaneously with the velocity v1, let it moves down with a velocity v1, and the velocity at the point B be v2. We know that as it moves downwards, it will move in this direction. Let the velocity will be v2. And if at any instant of time, let the distance of A be y and the distance of B be x. Okay. So here also the velocity of A or the velocity of B both are dependent on one another. So the velocity of A depends on the velocity of B, and velocity of the B also depend on velocity of the A. It is a constrained motion. So while solving the problems of constrained motion, we came across to know that the first we need to calculate the length of the string or length of the rod, which is always constant with respect to time. So as this length of the rod is constant with respect to time, but y and x will be changing. So write the L in terms of y and x. We know that as it is a right angle triangle, L is equal to, so the length of the rod can be written as length L is equal to root over x square plus y square. Squaring on both sides, we can get L square is equal to x square plus y square. So differentiating on both sides, 2L into dl by dt, which is equal to 2x into dx by dt plus 2y into dy by dt. Okay, so as we know that this length of the rod does not changes with respect to time, dl by dt is equal to 0. So this expression is 0 is equal to 2x into dx by dt. So x is the displacement of the end B. Okay, as it changes with respect to time is the velocity of the B. We can write it as v2 plus 2y into dy by dt is the displacement of A with respect to time. So which can be written as velocity of A, which is v1. Okay, so from now it can be written as 2y v1 is equal to minus 2x v2, where 2 gets cancelled, or v1 by v2 is equal to minus x by y, or v2 by v1 is equal to minus y by x. Minus y by x is nothing but tan theta is the opposite side by adjacent side. So v2 by v1 is equal to minus tan theta, or v2 is equal to minus v1 tan theta. So velocity of the end A is dependent on the velocity of the end B. So whereas v2 is equal to minus v1 tan theta is the relation between velocities of the both ends of the rod. Okay students, now let us move on to the next problem, that is find the acceleration of the block of mass m2 as shown in the figure. So this is the diagram. So here the motion of the block m2 is also dependent on the motion of the block of mass m1. So it is a constrained motion. So in constrained motion, the basic first initially we are calculating length of the strings, then afterwards we will find the relation between velocity and then relation between the acceleration, and then we can find the acceleration of the block of mass m2 as well as block of mass m1. Here, so this is the total string. Okay, so initially this string is let this length of the string, as it is block m2, it is L2, such that the length of the string is also L2, and the length of this string be L1. Okay, so this part of the string is L1 and this part of the string is L2. Okay, now the total string length of the string, forget about this part as it is very small. So as it is remains constant, and the distance as the block of mass m1 m2 moves or accelerate, L2 L1 will only changes, right? So as these are fixed, so now we need to calculate we need to calculate the what is the total length of the string. So total length of the string L is equal to, let capital L is the length of the string, which is equal to L2, this is also L2 and this is L1. So L1 plus 2L2, differentiating with respect to time, dl by dt is equal to dl1 by dt plus 2 into dl2 by dt. Okay, dl by dt is nothing but the 0, as the total length of the string does not changes with respect to time. dl1 by dt, this is the length L1 of the string. It changes as the block moves up and down. So dl1 by dt is nothing but rate of displacement, is nothing but velocity, which is the velocity of the block mass of m1. So v1 plus 2 into dl2 by dt is due to the block of mass m2. So 2v2. v1 is equal to minus 2v2. So this is the relation between velocities of the two blocks. Now if we find the accelerations, rate of change of velocity is acceleration, so dv1 by dt is equal to minus 2 into dv2 by dt. dv1 by dt is nothing but acceleration of the first block, so a1 is equal to minus 2 into a2. a1 is nothing but minus 2 into a2, which represents that the here negative sign indicates that the acceleration of first block is opposite to the acceleration of the second block. If the acceleration of the first block is upwards, the acceleration of the second block is downwards. Okay, so here this is the relation between the acceleration of the two blocks, but we need to find what is the acceleration of the mass m2. So to calculate this acceleration, so we can see, let the tension in this string due to the block of mass m1, which is upwards, which is tension T, and here it is downwards, which is also tension T. So it is T. As it is comes over the pulley, we know that it is T, and the thrust over this pulley is 2T. So by drawing the free body diagrams, we can calculate much easier. Let this block of mass m1 is moving upwards. This block of mass m1 is moving upwards with an acceleration a1, and this block is moving downwards with an acceleration a2. Okay, by drawing the free body diagram of the first one, we can calculate, so weight of the body acts vertically downwards, which is m1g, and the tension in the string is upwards, which is T, and there is a net resultant acceleration upwards, so net force acting on the body is m1 a1. So the equation can be written as T minus m1g is equal to m1 a1, or T is equal to m1g plus m1 a1. Let it be the equation 1, or let it be the equation 1, and let it be the equation number 2. Similarly, draw the free body diagram of the second block. So second block, whose weight is m2g, whose tension is 2T, and there is a net resultant acceleration downwards, so net force is acting downwards, which is equal to m2 a2. So m2 a2 is the net resultant acceleration. Therefore the equation can be written as m2g minus 2T is equal to m2 a2. So m2g minus 2 into T is nothing but m1g plus m1 a1, which is equal to m2 a2. Okay, so we know that the acceleration a1, so we know that the acceleration a1 is equal to 2a2, and minus negative sign indicates that the if acceleration of the block 1 is moving upwards, then the second block will be moving downwards. So a1 is equal to 2a1, substituting a1 is equal to 2a1 a2, as we have denoted acceleration, so direction of the acceleration area. So the equation can be written as m2g minus 2 m1g minus 2 into 2 4 m1a2 is equal to m2a2. So from this g can be taken common, g into m2 minus 2m1 is equal to 4m1 plus m2 into a2, where a2 is equal to m2 minus 2m1 into g divided by 4m1 plus m2 is the acceleration of the block of mass m2. Okay, so in this manner we can solve this question. So in the constrained problems, first we need to calculate the length of the string, which is constant with respect to time. Thereafter we can find the relation between the velocities and accelerations, and then we can solve as similar to our pulley problems by taking the free body diagrams. Okay students, now let us move on to the next problem, that is in the figure find the acceleration of the block of mass m1 and m2. So the diagram is given here, which consists of two blocks of mass m1 m2. One of the block is over the pulley, another block is on the smooth horizontal surface. Let us consider this surface as a smooth horizontal surface. As this block is m1, the length of the string, this part of the string is let it be L1, and let this length of this part of the string is L2. So yes, this is the block. This block moves in this direction with an acceleration. Let this block moves in this direction with an acceleration of a1, and the block of mass m2 is moving downwards with an acceleration a2. Okay, so as this block is moving in this direction, there is a tension in the string. Let T is the tension in the string. So as it is connected over a pulley, the tension in the string here is also T, and here is also T. As the tension in the string is T over this pulley, the net resultant tension is 2T. Okay, so as the motion of the block m1 is dependent on the motion of the block m2, it is also a constrained motion. So in this such type of constrained motion, first we need to calculate the length of the string. Okay, this length of the string is equal to, as we know that L1 is the length from here to here, and thereafter L2. Okay, as it is constant. So total length of the string L is equal to L1 plus 2L2. So differentiating with respect to time, dl by dt is equal to dl1 by dt plus 2 into dl2 by dt. dl by dt is constant, as it is rate of change in length is constant with respect to time. So that is 0, that is equal to dl1 by dt is nothing but this length varies as the block moves. So it is the velocity of the block of v1 plus 2 into v2. Therefore v1 is equal to minus 2v2, right? And v1 again differentiating with respect to time, dv1 by dt is equal to minus 2 into dv2 by dt, which is dv1 by dt is the acceleration of the first block, that is equal to minus 2 into a2. Here negative sign indicates that the acceleration of the first block is in this direction, the acceleration of the second block is in this direction. Now drawing the free body diagram of the block of mass m1. So here is the block of mass m1. In this direction there is a tension in the string, and the net force is acting in this direction, which is equal to m1a1. So T is equal to m1a1. Let it be the equation 1 and let it be the equation number 2. Okay, now if you write the free body diagram for the second one, for the second case, the weight of the body acts vertically downwards, which is equal to m2g, and there is a tension 2t. There is a net resultant force vertically downwards, that is M2A2. So from this the equation can be written as M2G minus 2D is equal to M2A2. By substituting the value of T, we can get M2G minus 2 into M1A1 is equal to M2A2. Okay, now substitute the value of A1. So M2G minus 2 the M1, A1 is equal to 2A1. Minus is a negative sign indicates the only direction. So 2A2 is equal to M2A2. So from this M2G is equal to 2 to 4 M1A2 plus M2A2, from which A2 can be taken common. A2 is equal to M2G by 4 M1 plus M2. It's the acceleration of the block of mass M1. Similarly, acceleration of the block A1 is equal to 2A2, so which is equal to 2M2G by 4 M1 plus M2 is the acceleration of the block of mass first one. So in this manner we can solve the problems using constrained motion and pulley. Okay students, let us continue with the next example. So in the pulley block arrangement shown in the figure, find the relation between the acceleration of the block A and acceleration of the block B. So for that let us consider, so you can see here it is also one of the constrained motion. So the motion of the block A depends upon the motion of the block B and connected over the two pulleys. So which has two strings, yellow one is the first string and green one is the second string. So let the length from here to here is the length of the string is x1, okay, and the length from here to here is, let it be x3, and from the length from here total to the block B is x2. So now consider the first string, that is the yellow one. So length of the string L1 is equal to which is nothing but x1 plus x3, x1 plus x3. So now differentiating with respect to time, we can get it as dl1 by dt is equal to dx1 by dt plus dx3 by dt. dl1 by dt is 0 as the length of the string is constant with respect to time. So dx1 by dt is the velocity of this one, velocity of this part of the wire, and v1 plus v3. So v1 is equal to minus v3. Differentiating again with respect to time, dv1 by dt is equal to minus dv3 by dt. Okay, dv1 by dt is nothing but acceleration of the first block is equal to minus a3, or a3 is equal to minus a1. Okay, so now consider the length of the second wire, so that is the green colored wire, let it be the length L2. So L2 is equal to, so this part is nothing but total x1 minus x3, x1 minus x3. Okay, now this part which is nothing but x2 minus x3 plus x2 minus x3. So L2 is equal to x1 plus x2 minus x3. Now differentiating with respect to time, dl2 by dt is equal to dx1 by dt plus dx2 by dt plus minus dx3 by dt. So dl2 by dt is 0, which is equal to v1 plus v2 minus v3. Again, differentiating with respect to time, we can get 0 is equal to a1 plus a2 minus a3 minus, so you can observe here it is 2a3. So 0 is equal to a1 plus a2 minus a3 is nothing but a1, so plus 2a1. So 0 is equal to 3a1 plus a2, or a2 is equal to minus 3a1. a2 is equal to minus 3a1, or ab is equal to minus 2 of acceleration of the block E. So acceleration of the block B is equal to minus acceleration of the block. Okay students, until now we have discussed some of the examples regarding the constrained motion. Okay, so this is how we solve the problem when the questions are given in the constrained motion point of view. Okay, so thank you for watching the video.